Welcome, everybody, to the Detecting History podcast. And I'm joined today by Aaron, aka Under the Bodie. It is pronounced Bodie, isn't it, Aaron? Let me make sure I get that
It is,
correct
yeah.
straight away.
That is, yeah.
So, Under the Bodie,
Yeah.
Bodie is a Bodie tree, is it not? Or is it land?
It's Cockney rhyming slang.
Oh, is it?
Bodie and Doyle, soil. That's from Detectorists.
There you go. See, I didn't make that connection. I was like, where does the Bodie come from? And then I looked.
I borrowed that from the series. Yeah, there's a couple of people who went, "Oh,
Oh,
that's a really good name. You should do that." So yeah, that's where that came from.
Under
Yeah,
the Bodie,
nothing.
Bodie and
Yeah,
Doyle soil. Of course, I've got
Bodie and
Doyle in my
Doyle
own name.
soil.
I should know
Of
that.
course, yeah, you should know that. Yeah, no, because that's series the series 4. Yeah, that came up one
Yes,
day, just as I was getting into my detecting, and I went, Under the Bodie, I'm having that. So
that's
that's it. Yeah,
brilliant.
quickly onto Gmail. Quickly onto Gmail.
Mine.
get the email address and work
That,
out from there. Yeah.
yeah, that's funny you say that because the first time you think of anything, be it a business idea, be it something to do with your hobby, handles like we say for metal detecting, and I'm sure other hobbies do it the
Mm,
same. You have to go in and make sure
yeah.
that username's available, don't you? It's really funny.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah,
Modern
because
living.
I've got another one which is there's a long story for that for all my other interests or my outdoor activity because I'm quite outdoorsy.
Yeah,
So yeah, but that's for another day.
another day or
That's
later
for
on in today's interview
or
when we
later
look.
on even. Yeah, even later on.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So, yeah, we made friends over Instagram. So you were following me,
Yep.
I was following you.
Yep. Yep.
Whereabouts in the UK are you based, Aaron?
I'm almost in the most easterly point of Suffolk, so I'm about 5 miles
Oh,
short of south of Lowestoft,
oh,
which
lovely.
apparently, because there's a spit of land now growing out, they're now saying we could actually be the most easterly point in Suffolk. But because it's not, to get that, you actually have to have something on the landmass. Apparently, so Ness Point is currently is the most easterly point. Um,
Oh,
so I think someone's got to go out and put a flag on it, I think, or something, and then we'll be the most easterly. But yeah, so yeah, 5 miles short of Lowestoft in Suffolk. So it's really easy to
brilliant.
find. You just go straight east, and there we are. So it's
Yeah,
lovely. It's a nice place to be. Yeah, it's a nice place to be. I like it here. We're lucky.
lucky. Yeah,
Beaches in the Broads. Yeah,
so beautiful. Yeah, love it round there.
yeah,
And of course,
yeah,
high
yeah.
history area,
Lots of
right?
areas of special scientific interest. Outstanding areas of natural beauty. We've got all the meres and the Thetford Forest and stuff like that. So we're quite lucky. No hills, but
No, very flat.
prime detecting ground. I'm right slap bang. I mean, it doesn't matter where I go really from here. Obviously, I can't go out into the sea, but anywhere north or south and west. I mean, yeah, it's all
Yeah.
prime. I'm just hoping it's not all been done.
As we say, a field is never done. So even if people think it's done,
No,
it's never
no.
done. It's never done.
Mm.
And how long have you been into metal detecting, particularly, first of all?
Re- Um, I'm about 6 weeks old. If you looked at me as a baby, I think I'm in my infancy. So it's been something that's been on the cards for a long time. My history interest is probably because I'm 52, so my history interest is I've always had an interest in history. I hated it at school, but for detecting, it was something that's come of my current situation because I'm injured. So I actually
Yeah.
bought my detector, I think, in September last year. So
Yeah.
I don't think I've been detecting for 6 months. I don't think it's
Wow.
even six
Blimey.
months yet. So I've got it all to
Yeah.
come. Yeah.
Yes. Exciting. It's
Yeah,
exciting
it
stuff.
is. It is really
Brilliant.
exciting. It is really exciting. Yeah, yeah,
So very similar. I mean, you've heard me speak about with guests how I hated history in school because for me it was all
mm,
about World War II and like, I didn't
yeah,
necessarily pique my interest. And then I don't think my school even did like the Henry VIII stuff, which most schools do. I don't know what happened at my school. Anyway, I ended up doing geography, and it's very much came
Yeah,
later in life for me as well. And now I'm just fascinated
yeah,
by it all. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I've got the time to actually get into it
yeah,
as well. It's amazing.
yeah.
So you touched upon it there. You're injured currently. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I know you've been really through it with your injuries and things.
Yeah, I am working, but only at a part time level. I finished full time work in May 22. I've got an ongoing back injury, so I've got spinal stenosis and degenerative disc disease. So,
Mm.
and it's got to the point now where, unfortunately, I can't maintain it by just looking after myself. I've actually got to have surgery, and that's what I'm waiting for. So,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, because I'm at the hands of the NHS, I've got a long wait. So, yeah, they've tried to do other things. They've basically tried to put a plaster on it, for since
Mm.
2019, and with age, it's just got to the point now where I need to have some intervention. So, fingers crossed, that'll happen at the end of the year, and come spring 20, what are we, 2025. I'll be back on, and I can get out and do all the pastimes that I really enjoy. Because at the moment I'm quite sedentary. Um, but
Mm.
but that is this has been the catalyst though for my history interest, because that has just
Yeah.
completely spiraled out of control, and actually it's been my main focus. So that's why I'm unusually coping with the fact that I can't go walking and cycling and do all the things that help my mental health normally.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
and the detecting and the people that I've spoken to and met through it. Yeah, that's this is I'm really afloat where I was expecting to be in quite a dark hole.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it's I'm a great believer in things happening for a reason, and at this point, my history interest and the associations and institutes and people that I've joined and the detecting, that's just it's just exploded. And
Yeah.
yeah, despite the fact that I'm kind of not working as much as I would normally be, I'm really busy, really
Yes.
really
That's
busy,
it.
because
Yeah.
there's so much going on. And yeah, but just with my history interest, it's just exploded. Yeah, it's brilliant. So despite
Yeah.
the physical problems, I'm actually spiritually I'm really good at the moment. Yeah,
That's fantastic to hear. Fantastic news. And
yeah,
thank you for
yeah,
sharing that as well. I think it's important that we share these kind of things. And Carl, the mental detector, we
yeah,
speak a lot about the benefits of detecting physical health, mental health, but also you've got to be real, right? People do have these
yeah,
injuries and illnesses and bits and
yeah,
pieces. And I just love what
yeah,
you said there. And it's the same for me. Once I've started really going online with my detecting, obviously starting the podcast, the community couldn't be nicer, and everyone really supports
yeah,
each other. You see people going through
yeah,
things, and people, putting up virtual arms around people and checking in on
yeah,
people. It's absolutely lovely, isn't it?
yeah,
And I know what you mean about being
yeah,
couldn't be busier, just because
yeah,
even if you're just researching, there's so much to look into,
mm,
isn't there?
yeah, 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 yeah. There's some local groups that I've joined. So I've joined the National Council for Metal Detecting. I did that on. I've had some really good advice, and I think everyone that I've spoken to, whether it's through the internet, I went back on Facebook after a 16-year break with Under the Bodie, and again, or just specifically just to get in contact with local groups and
Yeah.
Instagram. Just everyone on there. Everyone says, "If you
Mm.
got just just ask me if you need, just ask me," and it's been really good. Yeah, it's been really
Yeah.
good, considering
Brilliant.
it's quite in most cases it's quite a solitary pastime. There's
Yes.
a nice family group feel, specifically from the people that I've contacted firsthand. That's been really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. They're
Yeah.
good people. Yeah, they're good people. Good people.
They are all good people. So, before your injury, then, did you have any kind of metal detecting experience, or was it you just literally started and now you're kind of on your
It's
hiatus and
literally,
then
I've
raring to get going?
literally just started. But when I was 10, things could have been completely different. I was in the Cubs, and they ran a national competition over the summer holiday, and you had to make a diary of your summer holiday. And
Yeah.
bearing in mind, and the first prize was a metal detector, and I came second.
Oh,
So
so close.
things could I was so close. So things could have been vastly different for me. I could have started then. But I've always wanted one, but because
Mm.
I've always had quite a lot of other pastimes. I used to trail run, lots of distance cycling, hiking, canoeing, paddle boarding, a bit of bouldering, and some creative stuff like photography. There, there, there wasn't time for it, but
Mm.
because
Yeah.
of my situation has changed, and I was able to access my pension early. My wife, I was watching detectorists, and I was watching stuff on YouTube of various
Yeah.
people out detecting. And my wife's like, just go and buy one with Aaron. Just go and buy one, please. Because I don't on about
Yes.
it and on about it and on about it. So I got some really good advice from a local guy, and yeah, I went and bought one. But
And what?
it's probably something I would have done a long while ago. To be fair,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it would
Yeah.
have
It
been
was on your
something, but
list.
it's just it was on the list. It was on the to do list. Yeah, and I think because I'm like I say, I'm 52. I'm slowing down, so I've got a mountain bike, but I don't throw myself down steep inclines anymore because obviously of my physical disability. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think the time is right for me to do it now. And I had a conversation with one of my really good cycling pals and said, "Oh mate, do you know what? I could put the bike away." And he's like, "What? What?" I was like, "I quite happily, because I go out on my own a lot on my bike,
Mm.
but my wife over the last couple of years has got really into it as well. So I've never been like a group cyclist, so I
Yeah.
tend to go out on my own. So I think going out with the detector on my own just was
Yeah.
great,
You'll
and I
love
get
it.
the same
Mm.
benefits, exactly the same
Mm.
benefits. Because I'm with my cycling, I would normally because I plan my own routes, I would put some like a church or something. I would have a point
Yeah.
of interest that I would ride to. So I would get my cardio. I'd go out on my bike. I'd have a lovely day cycling, and I would visit an historic landscape or some architecture. But of
Yeah.
course, I can just go to my permission, and I get that same buzz. And just
Brilliant.
just being outside. I just love being outside, really. And the fact that I can be outside now and have tangible pieces of history in my hand, hopefully, fingers
Yes.
crossed,
Yep.
that just it really floats my boat.
Ah, brilliant.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
And
Yeah.
it's yeah, like you say, and then you can just go at your own pace, can't you? You can go slow as you like, fast
Yeah.
as you like, dig as many
Yeah.
holes as you
Yeah.
like, and yeah, everything
Yeah.
about it. Especially when you're in the middle of a field off the beaten track and you've got all the wildlife
Yeah.
around you.
I'm
Yeah,
very
it's nothing like
patient.
it.
I've had to over the last 18 months. I've had to really learn to be patient. So
Yes.
if I went out, obviously we all want to find. I'd like to come back with something after every
Yeah.
detecting session, just the one thing really. But
Yeah.
if I didn't, and I'd had a couple of hours outdoors listening to the birds and the wind in the trees, that's
That's just
fantastic.
as good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So what detector
yeah.
did you plump for then when you bought your detector?
Well, obviously because I was really green, I didn't really know anything about the machines, but I've always tried to do my research with my other equipment, bikes and things like
Mhm.
that. So I try and go for mid range to start with whenever I can. I would never go out and buy a high end piece of equipment because I might turn around and go, do you know what, this isn't for me. So I got
Yeah.
some advice, and I actually bought. I bought a starter kit through. Can I mention the company I bought it for? Is that all
Yeah,
right?
of
So I
course you
got it
can.
through
Yeah.
LG. I got, and they
Yep.
were really good with me. But there's Steve Sifter. He's a local guy. He does his YouTube. every Wednesday. He's a lovely guy. He's got his own website. You can go out with him and detect. I haven't met him face to face yet, obviously, because of my situation. But he said,
Yeah.
"Look, mate, what you should do, the Nocta are doing a starter kit, so I got the Simplex BT, the Bluetooth version, and
Nice.
it came with one of their kind of digging dagger things, a belt
Yeah.
and a bag.
Yeah.
It came with a pinpointer holster. It's
Yeah.
been brilliant. It's really light. I mean, it's carbon fiber. I mean, to be fair, I can't compare it to anything else because it's my first machine. But I've found things in the ground, so for me, it's a win-win. And it was
Yeah.
only I paid about 300 quid, I think, for a starter kit. And I mean, because
Yeah.
I've got outdoor gear anyway, so it's not like I didn't have to go out and buy boots and walking trousers
Hmm.
because I've got all that anyway. It's really light as well, which I need because obviously I can only do really short stints. So my
Yeah.
first kind of experiences were on the beach, and my wife had brought a little camping chair down for me, so I could do a little bit, and I could sit for a while. And obviously, things that will
Lovely.
change as my fitness changes. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I didn't have a spade. I had the digging trowel, and yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I can't fault it. I can't fault it. And LG have been really good as well. Yeah,
Yes, yes, I hear great things about the folks over there. And that's a
yeah,
good tip, isn't it? Mid-range, people have said it before. A
yeah,
lot of us start off with like an
yeah,
Amazon special, and as soon as you get hooked after maybe your first or second session, you're then having to spend more
yeah,
money to go for a machine like you did. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
it was good because you were sure
I
you went
kind
for
of
a really
made
good kit.
Yeah, I kind of made that mistake with the pinpointer. I bought like a 25 quid pinpointer off Amazon, and unless it was actually physically touching metal, it wouldn't go off. I look
Made it difficult.
the reviews and some of the videos that other customers had put on was saying that it would pinpoint to about 10 centimeters, but when I got it, it was just like no, it physically had to touch the object before it go off. So I give it to my grandchild. I give it to my grandson. So and then got another one. Yeah,
Ah. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I had an Amazon special, and actually it was alright. My, it's kinda it's an orange one, isn't it? It looks like a Garrett carrot, the one that I had off
yeah,
Amazon.
yeah. I
So I
think
think
it's like a Japanese copy, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah,
but it's the
I
same
think you
one.
must have had
Yeah.
a faulty one.
Mm,
Oh,
mm.
dear. So did you have any luck when you first went out with your machine? Did you find any bits before you had to stop?
My first experience was beaches, obviously, because I didn't have a permission at that time.
That's
So
tough to start on a beach as well.
lots of bottle tops, loads of bottle
Yes.
tops, and lots of aluminium blobs. And I was thinking, oh, these are cans that have got turned around. But my neighbour, who I've discovered afterwards, who detects, because he goes
Yeah.
out he's been working with Suggs from Madness on
Oh, really?
yeah, doing the program where they go to Second World War sites, and he
Yes.
was doing all the photography. And so I was like, oh, I've got
Mm.
loads of aluminium. And he says, you know what it is, don't you? And I was like, I've got no idea. So they like droplets. And I went, yeah, they're just like blobs of aluminium, but it's all aircraft fuselage because when they were
Oh.
shot down and crashed into the sea, because it's obviously they're molten to lumps, but because it's so light, they get washed up. I just
Oh,
assumed it
wow.
was cans and stuff that had been
Mm.
manipulated, but yeah, big blobs of aluminium. So yeah, I found out
Wow.
subsequently later that it's all aircraft fuselage, quite possibly
Yeah.
from the Second World War. Yeah, because obviously in Suffolk
Yeah.
and Norfolk we had all the bomber squadrons. You know, over
Mm.
200 landing areas. So there's
Yes.
quite a lot went down. So that was really interesting. So I'm glad I actually kept the first one that I got because I thought this is my
Mm.
first find. I'm going to have it made into a paperweight. You know, it's not a hammered coin,
Yes.
but you know, it's the first thing. I also kept the first ring
Yeah.
pull that I got as well because it
Amazing.
just for nostalgia, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you able to identify it? Was it a 82 Shandy Bass or something?
something. Well, all the bottle tops. They were. I think they were Stella. So they
Oh,
probably
yeah.
they're probably circa 1993.
Brilliant, brilliant. So you started off on the beaches, and did you manage to get on
Yeah.
any land?
I've got a really small permission, a meadow that my friend has got at the back, and I
Oh,
did my
nice.
gardens as well because I got the newsletter from the Suffolk and the Norfolk Heritage websites, and they're both the portals for Suffolk and Norfolk archaeology departments. So
Yeah,
they basically it's just all the info, but they have two. They have a map that you could look on where they will show you where lines have been found, historical landmarks as such like, and
yeah,
it shows that there was a temporary home guard camp on the estate that the houses were built on. So this whole area
yeah.
here, before it was developed, during the Second World War, was an army camp, just a
Ooh,
simple barrack blocks and stuff like that, and Disnuts, I would imagine. So I've
yeah.
found ammunition cases as well,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
which was because I picked them up and I thought, well, why have I got bullet casings in the garden? And then
Yeah.
after a little bit of research, it turned out that this whole area was quite a big camp. I'm assuming it was pre D-Day, but again, like I say, we had all these 200 plus bombing runways over in the
Mm,
Suffolk and Norfolk on the east coast through the war years. So
yeah.
and there's so yeah, a revolver. I got a revolver casing and about 5.237, which is slightly smaller than 303 rifles. So
Yeah.
um, they would have been the ordnance that the Home Guard would have used. So
Mhm.
so yeah, that's quite interesting. So yeah, I've got those. So but I'm I've had because we've had such problems with the weather. Typically, the permission that I've got, it's on clay, so it's like
Yeah.
it's been almost underwater. So, but we've had
Mm.
some dry weather. I'm actually hoping that I'm going to get up there next week, and it's completely virgin soil. No one's been on there
Ooh.
before. It's part of the house is part of the old brickworks. So there's an old brick factory behind it, which I don't know the age, but it's now a scheduled site. So
Ooh, okay.
it's all the brick kilns and everything. It's all you can't get into it because it's obviously it's a scheduled site, so it's got historic value. So
Yeah.
when I spoke, the house that my friend lives in, they think is the old manager's house for the brickworks, which has been there for 200 years old. So and when I looked on the heritage websites, there's no one's been anywhere near it. There's nothing on it. So I'm hoping it's always
Yeah.
been it's had horses on it as well.
Yeah.
So, and it's about half a mile away, quarter of a mile away from a massive Saxon cemetery. So, fingers crossed. Bloodmore Saxon Cemetery. They found masses of jewellery
Yeah.
and artifacts. Yeah, because there was a
Wow.
big cemetery there. So I'm quite excited about that. Yeah, and when he said, "Yeah, just come up, help yourself," then because the weather's
That's
been so
amazing.
bad, I'm
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited. And then his family has
Brilliant.
been there for a long time. So yeah,
Mm.
that's virgin soil. So I'm looking forward to
Nice. Nice. And what's your approach
that.
gonna be? Are you gonna wander around? Are you gonna do a bit of gridding? What do you think you'll end up doing?
Oh, I'm gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to be grit. I'll have to grid it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be
Yeah.
really diligent because I'm quite OCD, unfortunately. So it would nag at me thinking that I may have missed a bit.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a little GPS tracker. Again, another guy on through Instagram, so you can see where you've been and where you haven't been. So I'm
Yes.
going to put that on my
Which one's
phone so
that?
I can see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna. I've got one for. I've got a little computer which I use for my bikes, for my route planning,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then he's. I think he's got a Garmin. He's
Oh,
actually got a
yeah.
physical machine, which
Mm.
I was going to buy, which I was going to buy for our walking and our hiking, but I can read a map, so I've never bought one in the end. But
Yeah.
there's loads on Google Play that
Yeah. I use one
you can do. So
called Yeah, I use one called Go Terrain on my phone, which is the
see,
XP
yeah,
one, but you can it's just a GPS tracker, so anyone can use it. You don't have to have an
yeah.
XP machine. It's really good, and you
Oh,
can
that's
mark
handy.
out an
Yeah.
area where then it will vibrate if you move out of that area. So if you know you're
Oh,
tackling like a specific area of the
yeah,
field because you've found
yeah,
something,
yeah,
then yeah, it will alert you to say
yeah,
you've gone out of your boundary. So it's pretty cool. But
yeah.
there's a few out there.
I'm
Another
gonna
one's
have to
Tecto
be.
Track.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I'd looked at from a phone, so I can see
Mm.
where I've been because it would just nag me thinking that have I missed a bit? Have I done here and have I done there? So yeah, I'm gonna have to be
Yeah.
because it's like that episode 6 on the first series of Detectorists when he's go right, we should grid it all out, and he's like, I'll put the detector on. I went, oh,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be able to do that. I'd want to be detecting, but I'd want to know that I'd covered
Yeah.
every single grain of soil as well. No, I haven't missed a bit, So, and then just work out
Yeah.
what my
Absolutely.
sweep width
Yeah.
is. But I mean, I think if I went on,
Sweet width, and then do it in
I'm
one
looking at,
direction, and then do it in another direction.
yeah, just because I'd probably do the field one way over a period of however long it would take, and then go back the opposite way and then do the field again just to see because like everybody says the same thing. A field is never done. So yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's exciting then. That's really exciting. Something great for you to look forward
Do
to
you
as
know
well.
what? Oh, cheese grommet! I am so excited.
Good. I'm glad to hear
I'm
it.
just
I
like I'm
can't wait to
such a
see what you
big
find.
kid. Yeah,
it
yeah. Oh,
it does feel like
I
Christmas
know.
when you
Yeah,
start a new
yeah,
permission and you're researching it and you're
yeah,
waiting to go down there. It does feel like Christmas. It's mad.
yeah. I have got
Exciting mad.
a couple of farms lined up. Oh, my friend owns a farm just at the end of the village, and unfortunately, his dad has had um, he's had people on their detector, and I'm not sure whether they'd asked for permission. They've had problems, so they had a blanket ban.
Right.
So when I spoke to him about going on, he's like, "I'll speak to Dad and see." And I speak to him most weeks, going, have another chat with your dad. Have another little chat. And I think I'm whittling him down. I'm gonna grind him down until he go, "Oh, go on then." So and then see because that's quite an old farm as well. And I think there's a couple of paddocks as well. I don't need an awful lot of space, but there's a big paddock there, which has got some hot spots on
Mm.
it. I think from again from the heritage website where there's things there. So because there's so much history around here. Because if you go from mine and head towards Southwold, most people know where that is. There is actually where the river comes in. There's a Roman port, and we know there's a Roman port there, but it's on
Oh.
Benecker Estate, and yeah, they're not fans of the metal detector. So I think that's
No, I
going to
can
be difficult.
imagine.
But I think I'm hope the guy that I've got my permission for. I used to work for him, and he's such a lovely guy. And he's like, mate, I'll do you a really good reference. Just to say how tidy you are and things. So I
Mm.
think that really helps. So I think once I've got that to do, and because I've got a lot of time to do it, I'm not too worried about getting another permissions at the moment. So I
Yeah.
think he'll give me a nice reference, and I think because I've got some other things going on, which we'll probably talk about later, I think that
Yeah.
will give me a bit more credence. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Good plan, Batman. And with your friend's dad, just work out his favourite tipple is and keep sending him random bottles of whiskey and things. And he
Yeah,
might
see
get in
that.
there
Yeah, that
eventually.
is. Yeah, I think you've got to keep them happy, haven't you? There's quite. I think was it Jake to text. I think maybe that you spoke to, and Bevan,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, every Christmas send them a bottle. Just tell them what you're
Yes.
doing. Be
It does.
upfront and honest. And and
Yeah.
that's just, honesty's the best course. And yeah, find out what it is they
Yeah.
like to drink, and then send them one of those just to
Yeah.
say thanks. Yeah, I would definitely do that because it's they are letting on you. These people are letting you in their gardens at the end of the day, aren't they? Really. So
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's
And they've
it's
all
good.
had
Yeah,
people
yeah,
trying to take advantage of them one way or another, be it poaching or nighthawks,
yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So what's your favourite era in history at the moment then, do you think?
Oh, I think when I was reading through your question list, I was like, "Do you know what? I really don't know. I think my initial history interest would have been the Second World War because I
Hmm.
think my first recollection of going to a museum would have been Duxford, the Imperial War
Oh,
Museum, with my granddad
yeah.
because he
Yeah.
was obviously he was there. He did D-Day and all that, and
Wow.
he was just a plethora of knowledge about the aircraft. And he was he used to drive a tracked Bren gun carrier, and they had one. So I
Ooh.
think my initial interest would have been the Second World War, but
Yeah.
I also like the prehistory because Ellie,
Yeah.
Miss Detectorist, she's on the Sillies at the moment, isn't she? And that is just
Yep.
covered in prehistory. And so there's big
Mm.
monuments and tombs. I love all that.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm
cool.
currently really into the Celts. So this is,
Yep.
I suppose, this would be what 2,500. So it's like 500 BC, possibly.
Yep.
So I've been really into that. But I think for the UK, it would be the Dark Ages for me, the Saxon age for me, because it's. I
Yeah.
think we're still learning a lot about that because it's kind of well, we know
Hmm.
we know about the Romans because they left massive marks on the landscape where everything with the Saxons is feral, but I'm really
Mm.
into their their art, how they mark their
Mm.
coins, and there's the stylization of their animals. And the thing that I really like about that
Beautiful.
was the fact, again, like with the Celts, how they were in sync with the landscape that they lived in, and how they worked that
Yes.
landscape,
Yes.
and how they worked one with nature, and building their houses, and how they foraged and ate and hunted. And I really
Mm.
like that. I really like that because I get that. Um, and I think it's all. I think we didn't really start to get written records, did we? Really, until the Normans turned up. So I think it's yeah. I think for me it would be the Saxons and their time while they were here as well, between the Romans and the Norman. Yeah,
That's
that I
right.
think I'd have to say that interests me the most at the moment because we're still finding stuff out. Because obviously, yeah, there's not an awful lot of written records for that time,
Yeah.
so that's why I like
Absolutely.
it. So it would be Harold as well on the next question.
Yeah. And as and when things are uncovered.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, that makes your permission that you're going to get on even more exciting, doesn't it? Next to that burial ground. So yeah,
Yes, because
you can
it's
discover
it's
history on our
surrounded.
behalf.
It's surrounded by yeah. It's. I mean, it's literally a quarter of a mile, half a mile away from Bloodmoor, where this huge Saxon cemetery was, and I'm not 100% sure where all the artifacts have gone. But there's some really again on the Suffolk Heritage website because I was watching one of the new time teams actually when they did one in East Anglia last year that they mentioned Bloodmore, and I thought,
Yeah.
well, that's Lowestoft. So on the old phone, have a quick research, just like, do you know what? And it was massive. I think there was dozens and dozens of burials, and I'd never heard of it. Never heard of it. So yeah, and it's just round the corner from the commission,
Wow.
so you never know. Fingers
Just round the
crossed.
corner as well.
Yeah.
Favorite monarch or emperor? So we've spoken about your
Um,
favorite eras, but do you have a
I
favorite?
think I'm really interested in Harold. Um,
Oh, good
yeah,
one.
yeah, because I think he got the rough end of the stick towards the end. I think he was really unlucky
Mm,
because I think he'd exhausted himself with what was going on. But yeah, that whole era because he did some really interesting stuff, and I think he was just really unlucky when when the Normans turned up. And I've looked at some of the documentaries that I've watched, and I think that they were so close to winning that battle in
mm,
Hastings,
mm.
and then they were just outflanked and really unlucky. And I think all our history would have been completely different. Well,
Yeah,
certainly for a short period anyway, because the French would have tried again anyway.
yeah,
I don't expect.
yeah.
Yeah, he's for me. And I think the fact that he retreated back to would it have been I'm just trying to think where he was. It was Somerset, wasn't it? I think. Well, there was a floodplain there, weren't they? So
Right.
he basically just when he had the Vikings come in, he'd had a couple of battles, hadn't he? I think, and then he hid. He went back to his, and that's when he burnt the cakes, and then to revigor and then deal with it all. And then to lose at the bitter end like that, I think was just really unfair. But yeah, I think we've been to battle,
Yeah,
and we did the history walk with the headphones, and they're like, yeah, he was so close,
yeah,
and just at the end, yeah, he just fell right at the end. At the end, so yeah, that there's not an awful lot that I know about it because it's the Dark Ages, but that is something that I'm really interested in now, and which I'm reading about now. So obviously, being in Suffolk, we've got Sutton Hoo,
yeah,
and we've also got Rendlesham, where they've just over the last 3 years they've been working on a dig for the Saxon Palace, which
yes.
is all contemporary. So I got the Suffolk Institute. I got their I don't know if you can see that very
Ooh,
well.
I
It's
can.
the proceedings.
Oh,
So with all the information from the dig over the last 3 years, and it's filling all those gaps in
yeah,
for me about
brilliant.
that era. And yeah, I'm finding it really interesting. Yeah,
Fascinating.
really, yeah,
I think as history is obviously so vast, it is good to be able to pick a time or a period or a place and
yeah,
then be able to research it fully. Where did you get
yeah.
that booklet from, that brochure?
I've joined several groups. So I joined the Council for British Archaeology East because
Yeah,
they're governed by the Council for British Archaeology.
yeah.
It literally cost me a fiver to
Wow.
join for a year.
Yeah,
You get a newsletter from them, and through their Suffolk Heritage website, they've got other groups. So I joined the Suffolk Historic Churches Trust because I
yeah,
love churches. I think
yeah.
people take those buildings for granted. I'm not. I don't consider myself to be religious in any way, but I'm fascinated by the archaeology and the
Same.
architecture.
Mm,
But yeah, so I joined this Suffolk Institute for Archaeology and History, and they work closely with Suffolk County Council Archaeology Department,
yeah.
and they help on digs. So I also joined the field group, so fingers crossed, I'm going to get my hands dirty at some point this year.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
one of the things they've asked me to do, which they because they give you a call and they have a chat about your history interest, and that they want me to. They're going to train me to analyze geophysics results.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
brilliant.
throw it at me, just throw
Yeah.
it at me because I can sit there because obviously I had to explain my physical condition at the moment. I said, look, I can't be digging trenches, but I can
No.
clean fines.
Yeah.
I said I've got a metal detector, which they kind of brushed over, but so I have got one if I can bring it. But yeah, cleaning fines, cleaning back. They also the group are trained by the professional archaeologists,
Mhm.
and they've been working at Rendlesham. But when you join, you get this lovely book. I mean, it's
That's
25 quid for the
brilliant.
year, But this has
Yeah.
got all it's a lovely book. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
big
it's a
book,
big thick book,
and
I
it's
can
got
see.
I mean it's got all the color pictures, and it's all the details from all the sites and stuff that have been dug. And this is volume 45, part three.
Wow.
So you can buy them all. I mean, and they bring one out every year. So this is. I
Brilliant.
didn't realise I was going to get it. I thought I had to pay for it, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's got all the Rendlesham stuff in that. So that's been really interesting.
Yeah, I bet.
And to find that the palace is contemporary with Sutton Hoo,
Yes.
and that they were probably related. The people that were there would have seen the ship burial. Was
Yeah.
just like just blew my mind completely
Mind
because
blowing, isn't it?
We've been to Sutton Hoo
Mm.
because we like that area,
Yeah.
and I'm following the Sutton Hoo ship because the Sutton Hoo Ship Company at Woodbridge are building a replica
Yes,
currently,
I saw this a
which
while
that
ago.
and a friend of mine is the main shipwright down there, Laurie. So that we normally go down and we have a look to see how they're getting on
Yeah.
because they're gonna take it down to the Thames and then they're gonna row it out around the North Sea to where it's resting place. But that's been fascinating as well. I mean, they
It's
those guys
amazing.
they send a newsletter out that's just jam packed with amazing history and information.
Yeah.
And obviously they're obviously planting trees as well. So the oaks that they're taking out, they're replacing them, and that's a fantastic project. That is, yeah, I love that.
Brilliant.
All those, yeah, yeah,
So many
those
top
modern,
tips there as well. Yeah, I'd never
yeah,
even thought about that. But yeah, I was thinking the other day because I've seen some of the people that I've connected with on Instagram and that they do get the call to go on some of these archaeological digs
yeah,
and go and
yeah, yeah,
detect or, as you say, clean finds, whatever
yeah,
it is. But yeah,
yeah.
that's great. And to see you've got all those resources there now as well. So folks,
They
anybody can do
chuck
that.
you newsletters as well, and I've just
Yeah,
got so much stuff that I can look at for research now, which is
brilliant. And
yeah.
that's
Then
just
there's
your
yeah,
area. So think about
yes,
countrywide, yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot out there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's the other thing that's happening is I approached the records office, the
Mm.
Suffolk Archive, and I'm going to start volunteering for them in the coming
Ooh,
weeks. So that's
lovely.
something else that's yeah. I'm hope that the reason one of the reasons is I'm doing it is when I'm going to start looking at trying to gain future permissions. If people can see that I'm not a treasure hunter and that
Mm,
I'm genuinely interested in the history of my county,
yes.
I'm hoping that will my swing on so will be more to the yes than the no.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because you think about it,
So
you get someone just turning up to your door and going, I want to go in your land, da 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 da.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
hang on a minute, who are you? And I think I learned through several people, Jake, you mentioned before, and Paddy and his dad, like the approach, if you need to show who you are, let them see a bit of your soul kind of
mm,
thing, why you're into it,
mm,
and then it will make them
mm,
see that you're a good person and more likely to
yeah,
let you on then, aren't they?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's a really good tactic. And as you say, even though because of what you're going through right now, you sound the busiest ever because you're really getting involved in your passion.
yeah. I've got it's my mum's 70th birthday today, and I've organised a surprise party for her. So
Ah, happy birthday, Aaron's mum.
this yeah. So I've been dealing with that because my brother and sister, my sister lives away, and my brother's running the family firm. So that's all fallen at my feet. So
Yeah,
my emails and my texts and stuff has just been it's just been
crazy.
we're at the weekend again. You know, it's just think, where's the week gone? And then all these things that have been coming through the door, and then you get to one site and you get a link as well. So as a local author, Sarah Doig, I think her name is, and she's done some lovely books about the local history. She's just done one on Basil Brown, and his life, the guy that did Sutton Hoo. But
Yeah,
she's done stuff on like local churches and things. So yeah, and I found that through the institute website, and it's just like that. It's there is so many groups and
hmm
societies, history societies, and you just think, and where I didn't realise I didn't know there was enough room for them all. I think especially with the records, local records, the interest in maintaining and keeping our records.
Mm.
I mean, you've got like the Friends of the Suffolk Archive. You've got the History Hub. I mean, you can't keep. I just couldn't keep up with it. It's like who do I pick out of all those to join?
Yeah.
Where am I going to miss out if I don't join them all?
It's
So
just having the
yeah,
time,
so
isn't it? Just having the time.
yeah,
I've got a
so
pile
I
of
think
treasure hunter magazines and
I've
searcher
kind of
magazines I haven't got
honed.
yet.
Yeah, I see exactly. Yeah, I think I've honed the ones that probably do the best work. So I've got the Institute and the Field Group, and again, they've been really lovely people to talk to, and they've kind of like, we can see you fitting in. You're going to be amongst sort of kindred spirits, and
Brilliant.
I'm just gonna listen.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna because there's going to be so much. I'm going to be like a history sponge. Because there's just going to be so much stuff to listen to because everyone there is going to have far more experience than me, and
Everyone's got a tale to tell. Yeah.
this is it. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. And a lot of these groups as well, the ones I've joined specifically do a lot of online lectures via Zoom.
Yes.
So it means I
Nice.
don't have to go anywhere,
Yeah.
and I still get the benefits, which is
Mm.
really, really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's the
mm,
one benefit of the pandemic and everything is most people had to learn how to do what they were doing online. So
yeah,
again, that's
yeah,
helped, hasn't it, for people that maybe
yeah,
can't access these things, like you say.
yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah. It's
Okay.
been it's been brilliant.
So let's talk bucket listers. So I'm going to ask you what your own personal bucket lister is. What do you want to find when you finally get on that meadow for a mission?
I think everybody wants a bit of gold, don't
Mm,
they? But I'm
yeah.
not. I'd like to. I I'd like to find some of the short cross Plantagenet King coins because they're rare.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
I and the sack. Everyone loves the status, don't they? And I
yeah.
love
Gold
those, but
status.
it's
Mm,
not because of the precious metal. It's the designs. They
yes.
just they just really excite me. The way the stylization of the animals that are on it, the way and that art, just to have that in my hand, just ah, it would just
Yeah,
be the best day ever. It really would because
yeah.
it fascinates me that art because there's not a lot of it because they didn't write books and things like that. It's very
Mm,
limited how much of that we get to see
yeah,
physically.
yeah.
So I mean, to be fair, if it was copper alloy and it still had that beautiful artwork on, for me that would be great. But
That should be amazing.
there's one thing that I'd really love to find, which is a Roman. It's a Draco, which is the dragon's head which they used to have at the top of their standards,
Oh,
which
yes.
which normally they're not precious metals, but they still don't know how they did it. But it would when they rode with the horses,
Hmm.
it would make an eerie sound, and it was supposed to scare um, your
Yes.
opponent when you went into battle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite a big thing,
Mm,
normally in two parts, but again, it's the art of how it looks and it's made. That's what interests me.
yeah.
That and to find one of those in the ground would be fantastic.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
that would be really good. I mean, everyone wants a horde. I think people go, "Oh, I'd love to find a horde," but it's not why I'm out there. It's not why I'm
No.
out there.
No.
I
I
mean,
found I found a nice big Roman last week. Did you see when I posted
yeah,
about it? Oh, just the feeling of seeing that green. I didn't know what it
yeah,
was at first, but I saw the
yeah,
green. But as soon as I saw the green, you just know,
yeah,
and you're like, "Oh, what's that?"
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So yeah, for me, yes, it would be one of those Draco. I think it's called a Draco, which I mean, it's quite a big thing to be fair. They're normally in two parts, but to find one of those would be fantastic. I
Yeah.
mean, and we have with I mean Suffolk and Norfolk. Obviously, there's Roman forts. I mean, we've got Caister. So we're not. I mean, I'm not. And apparently, there was a Roman. port, which would be about a mile, 2 miles south of where we are.
Wow.
So they're here. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that would be great. I'd love to find one of those. I'd love to
Yeah.
find one of
Good
those.
luck to
But I
you.
mean, to be honest, because I've got it all to come, anything pre-decimal would be good, really.
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to be recovered and get going. It's going to be so exciting to
Yeah,
see you. See
yeah,
your
yeah,
face when you find those things.
yeah,
It's going to be
yeah,
great.
yeah. Just like
Okay
a
then.
really big kid.
Yeah, yeah, back to the feeling like Christmas morning again, isn't
Yeah,
it? So, ultimate bucket lister list. So, we're on our season 2 ultimate bucket lister list now.
yeah.
So, I ask all the guests to place an item on the ultimate bucket lister list so that everybody can have a go at trying to find one. So, hopefully, a bit more realistic this season because last season it got really wild and wonderful. People
What
wanted
the
to
Ark of the
find.
Covenant, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly, exactly. So, yeah, something that you think every detector should try and aim to find and that's achievable. What would you like to put on the bucket lister list?
I'd again, the Draco would be nice, but I'd like to find a piece of Celtic art, really, like a bronze
Ooh,
figure, something like
yeah.
that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Something that probably had more than that was more of a spiritual ritual purpose than function.
Yes.
Um, that so we've got the Saxons have got um, they're influenced by the early Celts because they were the European. They were, I mean, they think that they came from Central Europe.
Yeah.
So, um, um, and that they were really, uh, uh, in terms of their metal working, they were really ahead of their time. And I
Mm,
think the Saxons took that on board. So, I'd like to find something like a figurine, something like that. I'd really like to find something that would represents their art and their culture,
yeah.
not a functional item like coins or weaponry. Something that represents them as a people.
Yes.
So and they used to make these little figurines, which they think would have been for spiritual, maybe one of their good because they were pagans, weren't they? They
Yeah.
were pre-Christian, weren't they? So something like that would be great in bronze. That would be great because they did quite a lot of
Amazing.
bronze stuff. So
Mm,
something like that. It doesn't have to be massive.
no.
That I mean, yeah, that would be great for me. Something like that, I think, as well, because
Brilliant.
it represents the people as a whole.
Yeah.
It's something about who they were, their cultural, spiritual beliefs as well. I think that would be great for me. Yeah,
Absolutely.
something like that.
Absolutely.
That would be. I think everyone should find one of those. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be
No,
big.
just little one. You come across
Yeah,
all sort of little wee Roman bits and pieces. So
yeah,
why not one
yeah.
of
And the
those as
Romans
well?
obviously as well. They had loads of little effigies, didn't they? That
Yeah,
they would keep, so they
yeah,
could, they could talk to the gods and make offerings to the gods and Mars and God knows and all the other gods that they had. And
yeah.
God of sunny days and God of cursing your neighbour and yeah. So
Exactly.
anything like that would be great for me. But I think yeah,
Brilliant.
pre-Roman,
Lovely.
because there's a big gap there for that sort of thing. I think
Yeah.
we've got quite a lot of we've got a lot of bling, haven't we? We're now starting to get some nice bling from that period as
Yeah.
well, with which we're finding within burials as well. But yeah, something because
Yeah.
that's the like that they're items of the individual. I'd like to find something that represented them as a people,
As a culture. Yeah.
yeah, as a culture. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be nice. That would be nice. Yeah,
Brilliant.
something that rewrites the history as well. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine?
Just some. They've
Oh.
just changed. They've just changed, haven't they? The length of time that they think the Romano British were here
Yes.
by about
Yeah.
another 100 years, haven't they? Because they've been
Hmm.
working on a couple of sites where they've taken um, quartz. They can record the sunlight in quartz now, can't they? So
Can
they can
they?
tell you when. Yeah. So they unpicked a mosaic up, and they assumed that the Romans were here for 400 years.
Mm.
They've just discovered. This is through good old Professor Alice.
Alice
We all love
Roberts,
her.
who
Yeah,
we all
Alice
love.
Roberts. Yeah, we all
Yeah.
love her. And it was on her last series, and they've just extended the time so that the people that they were looking at this particular site were still having mosaics put down 100, 200 years after the Romans had left. So that rewrote
Wow.
the history books.
Yeah.
So yeah, something because there's somebody found a gold coin, didn't they, as well, with a new king on it, I believe
Yes, they
a
did.
month or two ago.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's something like that would be great. Yeah,
Mm.
something so utterly unique. And we go, well, we're going to have to rewrite the books, and that'll have my name on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
great.
yeah. That'd be
That'd be great.
amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah, they're
Yeah, because
constantly now because of the technology and things like in this country, all the archaeological surveys that have to happen before there's like a new build or a state
yeah,
or when they were doing the HS2 and all that kind of stuff. And then even like
yeah,
you see Oak Island, I would watch The Curse of Oak
yeah,
Island, but over in the North Americas and South Americas, they're just rewriting history all the time, aren't they? They're like, hang on
yeah,
a minute, why are we finding? And they found Roman coins on Oak Island the other day. So it was either that people were there a lot earlier than they thought, or the people that went over there had Roman coins on them. Why? So yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah,
constantly rewriting history. It's
yeah.
dead
Yeah,
exciting.
so that would be nice. That would be nice. That would be in my bucket list. Something, an artifact that rewrote the history books. There we
Okay.
go.
Just a small wish. I'll see if I can grant it to
Yeah,
you.
I know. It's not a big ask. It's not a big ask.
Brilliant. So before we wrap up then, I did want to speak to you about your other hobbies, just so you can
Yeah.
give some inspiration to people. And then also I want to ask you, um, no, actually I'll ask you that on the next section. Don't worry about that. So tell us a
Okay.
bit about what other hobbies you have got up to in the past and still continue to do.
Well, I've always been interested in the outdoors. And my dad is really outdoorsy. So
Mm.
he's explored. He's been at the North Pole. He's done all various things. So it was in my blood
Wow.
as a kid. So
Yeah.
my school holidays were normally spent on a touring bike, touring the UK. So
Nice.
I've always had cycling in my blood. So I stopped that as a teenager and got into skateboarding, and
Yep.
I love skateboarding. I don't
Mm.
skate anymore, but I still have my younger brother. He had a little company, and he's got friends that still skate. So I do love skateboarding, and I think that's I've got a board, but I don't skate anymore. And I love that all the wheel sports. Love all the wheel sports.
Mm.
I think they're a great community, and I like the people within that industry as well. So, but my main hobbies are walking and cycling. So I've got several different bikes. I'm not a roadie. That's not what I'm into. So I've got a hardtail mountain bike. I've got a touring bike and I've got a gravel bike, but I ride at party pace. I'm
Yep.
not interested in staring at somebody else in front. I'm not interested in staring at the tarmac. I like to enjoy the countryside that I'm riding through,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
I will go out. The last ride I did, I haven't ridden my bike since April, obviously, for last year, and it was a 75-mile mixed terrain ride, and that was the sort of thing I would normally do.
Yeah.
I would normally ride between 50 and 100 miles on that day. I would
Wow.
take in I would plan a route that would take in certain landmarks or
Yeah.
places. So I would put churches in
Yeah.
because if it rains, you can get in the church and eat your lunch. And I'd try and go to places that I haven't been.
Mm.
Myself and my wife, we do a lot of walking.
Yeah.
We really like walking. Derbyshire, the Lake District, Northumberland, and again, I use a navigation app called Commute,
Yeah.
and it's a fantastic community. Everybody on there, they just like being outdoors. It's not about
Mm.
it's not competitive in any way. So you can share your routes. So if I was to go to the Lake District, I could put it on and say, oh, I want a 5 mile walk with this elevation. And it will bring me up various routes that I can walk. So you don't have to plan them. But normally when we go, I will try and take in some historical landscape or some some an old building, castles,
Yeah.
Neolithic, stone circles and stuff like that. So we really enjoy a good day's walking.
Yeah.
We canoe and paddleboard. We
Lovely.
do that. Yeah, so we've got. I built a 15-foot open Canadian canoe,
Ooh.
so which we've got. But my dad again, he's got carbon boats, so we do a lot of open canoeing.
Yeah.
Not so much the kayaking, but the big open canoes. Again, it's
Mm.
it's that slow pace, just
Yeah.
taking in the
Enjoying it.
landscape that you're in and the wildlife. So I'm an RSPB member. I love my birds.
Yeah.
Well, and if I went out detecting or cycling, and if I didn't find anything, but I saw a green woodpecker, I'd be happy.
I know what you mean. You're just like day
Going out
made.
and seeing hares in March running around and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That just
Yeah.
that's a good day. That's a really good
Brilliant.
day.
Yeah, very
I,
mindful activities as well, aren't they?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I've got a couple of friends that I cycle with. I'm not a group rider. I'm not interested in my average speed. I'm more interested in how many miles I've done
Yeah.
as opposed to how fast I'm going,
Mm.
because you miss it all otherwise. But I like
Yeah.
new roads. I like finding new roads and cycling places I've never been and walking.
Yeah.
So that's one of the, when my wife might say, "Oh, do you want to go here? If we'll go away," the first thing I do is put the navigation app on and go, "All right, we've got X amount of days.
Yeah.
We can do these walks." So when we went to Northumberland last year, I think we did 7 walks in 5 days. So we did like a
Wow.
morning walk and an afternoon walk, and that landscape is just amazing. Why I've never been
Mm.
before, I don't know, but yeah,
Mm.
all the Norman churches and everything as well, and obviously you've got Lindisfarne
Yes.
and the whole St Cuthbert's story. We went to St Cuthbert's Cave. I think everything, all the walks we had that we did had a castle in it or an
Brilliant.
abbey. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing.
And it sounds like you
Um,
earned your pub lunches every day as well, taking in
yes,
7
that's it.
walks.
I mean, we depending on the time of year, I've got loads of outdoor gear. So I've got a full touring kit. I've got all the bike packing gear.
Yeah.
I know stoves, and we've got a big air tent that we use that we'll go camping in. We use that as our base to go out from. I've got
Yeah.
all the ultralight gear as well, so I can bivvy and stuff like that, which I really enjoy. So
Wow. You are
yeah, it's
ready
good.
for anything. And as you say,
Yeah,
if your dad
yeah,
went to the North Pole, etc., it's in your blood, isn't it?
yeah,
And you can tell your
yeah.
passion for it.
Yeah, he's been all over. He was a diver. The records office got in con. I spoke to the records office, and they've got 2 projects going. And one of them is the asylum at Melton, which is near Woodbridge.
Hmm.
But the project they want me to work on is they want all the records recorded for a company called Brook Marine. And I said, well, that's interesting because my dad was a dive welder for them. And they went,
Oh.
oh, well, there you go. So I spoke to my dad, and he went, oh, can I come with you? And it's
Oh, yeah.
basically recording all the vessels that were built because they were shipbuilders, boat builders,
Yeah.
where they went and who they bought for and who worked on the boats. And that's so I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's going to be an
brilliant.
interesting. Yeah, it's going to. It's just so ironic that they said, "Oh, we're going to work on Brook Marine." I went, "Oh, you've got to get me in. You've got to get me in. That's where my dad worked." And he was fascinated when I told him. So
Brilliant.
I've got loads of hobbies. I like photography. I did photography at degree level.
Yeah.
I didn't finish, unfortunately. I was in an accident, but so I shoot. I've got a 35 mm film camera, Praktika
Nice.
camera, and I've got
Yeah.
a good Nikon digital camera.
Yeah.
I like digital art, so I've got Photoshop. I do Photoshop and do like post production landscapes and that sort of stuff. I'm quite lucky. I got my brother a really nice job at a design agency in Southwold, and him and 2 guys bought it last year.
Oh.
So I get free Photoshop. I get the whole
Yay.
I get the whole Adobe suite for free. So that's quite nice. And I really in the winter months, yeah, I can doing photo manipulation and making unreal landscapes and graphic art. I love all that. And
Brilliant.
I make models as well. I do this is my dad used to make models with me as a kid. And when I had this first boat, my wife bought me a complete kit. So you got the model, all the brushes, the paints, the glues, and stuff
Yeah.
for a little American Jeep,
Ah.
and then it went spiraled out of control. So I know build Airfix classic kits, just the classic kits, and it's Second World War
Yeah.
vehicles. I don't do aircraft,
Nice.
and so and there's always one on the go.
Yeah.
So I've just finished a tank, and I'm now gonna start. That's a both gun, I think. Tractor, trailer, and the gun. So I
Mm.
got that. I'm now starting that. So I've just cleaned all the splines and stuff like that. So yeah, I like doing
Yeah.
that.
You're
It's
ready
not
to go.
that. Yeah, it's. I've got too many hobbies and not enough time really.
Well, Aaron, we're going to have to wrap it up there, but it's been so interesting. You've had many, many top tips. I'm going to go away and research myself what I've got in the Hampshire area in terms
Yeah,
of the Archaeological Society and record
yeah,
books and all
yeah,
those bits and pieces because it sounds
yeah.
amazing. And your
Well, if you,
story as well. Thank you for sharing as well where you
yeah,
are currently and where you're going to
yeah,
be soon when you're all fixed and
yeah,
better.
yeah,
You'll find a lot of people in a similar situation. I'm sure they'll probably start
yeah,
reaching out to you.
yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for asking me to come on. It's been really good because that's just been something completely different, you know. And it's nice to chat. I love meeting new people. I love meeting
Yeah,
new
me
people,
too. Me too.
especially with people who've got similar interests, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
I
I mean,
love
everyone I've
everyone's
spoke to,
story.
specifically on Instagram,
Mm.
they've just all been lovely. They've all
Yeah.
been lovely. They've been
Yeah.
really lovely, you know. And everyone said, look, if you got a question, ask.
Yeah.
You know, and they've all got busy lives, and a lot of them have got young families and stuff like that. So it's just like, well,
Yeah.
thanks for letting me in. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
We welcome all. Everybody's
yeah,
welcome for sure.
yeah,
Everybody. Well,
yeah,
brilliant. Everybody, you can find Aaron and your Instagram handle is Under the Bodie, Bodie being Bodie. So people can find
yeah,
you there. And as you say, you've just started your Facebook as well, because there is
yeah.
a huge
Same,
Facebook
same.
community, isn't there, with all the groups
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Same handle.
yeah, yeah. It's under the space Bodie because I
There
couldn't
you
have it
go.
all because I haven't gone on there as Aaron because I shut that Facebook down about 16 years ago. So
Yeah.
I didn't want all my old schoolmates coming out of the woodwork going, oh. Not that I've got a problem with those, but I wanted. You get invited to too much rubbish, I find,
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
needed it to be really succinct with my history and my detecting interest, and
Yeah.
that is exactly what's happened with that. So
Good. Good,
yeah, I
good,
had to
good.
sit down over a long coffee and think, do I really want to go back on there? But it's been great because I've now got access again to all the local groups and more specifically the arranged group digs as
Yes.
well, like East of
Yeah.
England digs and stuff like that, which I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to get access to not being on there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so far it's all been really positive.
Good. Good, good, good.
Yeah,
Well, best
yeah.
of luck. Hope you get
Thank
your
you.
update soon. Best of luck with the recovery. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
we'll keep in touch for sure.
definitely, yeah, definitely. Well, I'm slowly making my way through all of the episodes of the podcast. So if I'm upstairs pottering about, I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I started at the beginning and I'm
Yeah.
going back to the old ones, or if I started at the end and working forward. It's just been next one, next one, next one. So and they've
Perfect.
all been lovely. It's been really they're
Oh, I'm
lovely.
glad you enjoy it. I'm
They're
glad you
really
enjoy it.
lovely.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get a bit. Some podcasts he's like, oh, they're a bit samey, but because you're listening to other people's stories as well, I think that it just
Yes.
keeps the interest.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes a certain podcast when I've listened to cycling ones, it's about the kit, and I just think, oh, you're boring me. But these have
That's
been
it.
really lovely. These have been
No,
lovely. Yeah,
I've been selfish. I've made the podcast about what I'm interested in, and that's the people and the way that people learn history
yeah,
through detecting and what it does
yeah,
for them
yeah, yeah,
mentally and physically. So yeah, I
yeah.
shall keep it that way. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're great. They are really great. You're doing a sterling work. You do well as well because if you're working full time,
I know it's
yeah,
it's busy, that's for
yeah,
sure. Yes, absolutely. Well, brilliant, Aaron. We'll get you on again next season. See how
yeah,
you're doing. Keep in
yeah.
touch. For now,
Yep.
thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.